Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm so excited. The Boys season 4 is finally here, and they decided to premiere with 3 episodes. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Episode 1, Department of Dirty Tricks, picks up right where we left off in season 3. Victoria Newman is on the ticket with Robert Singer, much to Singer's chagrin, as he has recently discovered Newman is a soup. The boys are now made up of Frenchie, Kamiko, and Huey, led by Mother's Milk. Butcher is still around, but they're now treating him like a burden on the group due to his new erratic behavior. And they are still working alongside Starlight, or Annie as she likes to be called. Their new mission is to take out Newman, which they believe can be accomplished with acid. Homelander is extra unhinged this time around as well. He seems to be struggling with the fact that he's aging and obsessing over finding gray hairs in his pubes and having this weird energy towards his son, Ryan, who everyone keeps praising for his youth and the fact that he's the first natural born soup. During a failed attempt to kill Newman at an event that Homelander and Ryan both happen to be at, the boys discover Zoe, Vicky's daughter, is a soup when she catches them in their room and she attacks them. At the same event in front of Ryan, Homelander calls out that he can see a black mass forming around Butcher's brain, provoking a sympathetic reaction from Ryan. During a confrontation between Huey and Vicky, Huey hits Vicky with acid, which turns out to be completely ineffective. They realize they won't be able to kill her, so it's either a truce or going back to the drawing board. While Mother's Milk is meeting with Grace and Robert discussing their failed mission, Joe Kessler pops up on Butcher and propositions him to join his team. Ashley, in her new position as CEO of Vought, is trying to bring new members to the Seven, but she soon realizes she is simply a figurehead, as no one makes a move without Homelander say so, which infuriates him for some reason. He has been throwing his weight around, intimidating all of them with his power, so what does he expect? Of course, you're surrounded with yes men. You'd kill them otherwise. They've also replaced Black Noir with another soup or actor. We aren't really sure at this point, but we do know that Homelander killed Noir in the last season. So this guy is new, we just don't know if he's a soup or not. He seems pretty strong though, and I love that it's the same actor, Nathan Mitchell, so he got to keep his job. This Noir, however, is very talkative, and his back and forth with A-Train, who is constantly reminding him to shut the fuck up, is hilarious. Butcher has a secret meeting with Newman where Butcher tries to foster a partnership between the two, but Newman wants a show of good faith by having Huey surrender the evidence he has on her. This episode, we find out that Huey's father's health is failing. He is currently hospitalized and non-responsive. And we are introduced to Colin, who is Frenchie's new complicated love interest. Complicated because although they hit it off pretty well, we find out Frenchie killed Colin's entire family. Now, I don't remember this story. I don't know if this is a new storyline or something I've just completely forgotten about, but here we are. Homelander, annoyed by the condition of the Seven, which he created, decides to enlist the help of Sister Sage, a soup whose power is that she's the most intelligent person in the world. Sage is uninterested at first, knowing that this deranged and dumb white man won't be able to handle having a black woman who is like 1,000 times more intelligent than him as a partner, but he is eventually able to convince her under the guise that he'll keep her a secret and that she'll finally get to see her ideas come to life with all the power he wields. We also discover that Marvin has been MIA, and while Mother's Milk is attempting to track him down, he spots him with a group of other men being led into a building by Sage. Unfortunately, This is an ambush set up by Homelander, who has the men brutally beaten to death, and it's by the other Supes. This is all part of a bigger plan to make it look like Starlighters killed some Homelander supporters outside of the courthouse after Homelander is acquitted for killing that guy who threw a water bottle at his son. We get a closer look at the dynamics between Homelander and Ryan. Not only is he jealous of his son, he hates his human side and wishes he were more ruthless, I guess. Huey's mom decides to pop back up into the picture. And Butcher goes back on his deal with Newman, deciding to send her a picture of a hairy asshole instead of the evidence he initially promised her. And that pretty much wraps up episode 1. Episode 2, Life Among the Septics, opens with A-Train filming a scene from his upcoming movie, Training A-Train. We do get a cameo from Will Ferrell though, so loved that. We get to see that the weight of being a part of the Seven is starting to get A-Train down. He doesn't seem to be as committed as he used to be. We find out Huey's father has given his mother power of attorney, and our girl Kamiko has started seeing a therapist. Good for you, Kamiko. Vought is working on Ryan's debut to the world by staging a robbery. They want to brand him as homeboy right next to his father. Thank goodness Sage is there to poo-poo that idea. Ryan is supposed to be seen as the chosen one, and that narrative only works if he's able to stand alone and not be under his father's shadow. Sage is able to convince them to launch him on his own as just Ryan. Sage is also able to get into the Deep's head about how he lets Ashley speak to him. The boys go to a convention called TruthCon trying to track down Sage, but Sage is there trying to recruit Firecracker, a very, very whack soup who makes unhinged Alex Jones-esque type content about like wild conspiracy theories, and she hates Starlight, like with passion. A lot of her theories center around Starlight and her nonprofit.
Starlight works with Oprah and Tom Hanks to set up a satanic home delivery service. An order of a hot dog gets you a boy, a taco, a girl, a combo gets you a child they forced to have trans surgery, and a soda gets you a shot of adrenochrome.
This mission takes a turn when Sage, who knew they were tracking her, ambushes them with Firecracker and Splinter, telling them to kill the boys as their audition to join the Seven. Splinter dies in the fight and Firecracker runs off. Ryan's fake robbery is ruined by his father, of course, who shows up off script, and the pressure he puts on Ryan causes him to push one of the actors so hard he smashes him into the side of a building, killing him. Homelander tries to console Ryan, thinking he's upset that he crashed his safe, but no, he's upset over killing an innocent man. Yeah. But this upsets Homelander, who wishes Ryan would see humans as less than and stop caring for them. At the end of the episode, we see Huey flip on his mom, but she's confused. She acts like she doesn't understand why her son, who she abandoned at 6 years old, would hate her. She doesn't seem too bright, that one. Kamiko finds an article about the terror cell shining light, and I'm guessing she recognizes one of the guys, and she abruptly storms off. Butcher has a come to Jesus moment with Mother's Milk, admitting he hasn't been making the right calls and asks for a second chance, but gets rejected. Episode 3, we'll keep the red flags flying here, opens at a vault rally with Homelander giving a speech about the potential corruption of America by Starlighters and whatnot. And he introduces the new members of the Seven, which are Firecracker and Sister Sage. Sage looks so pissed, but we all know Homelander doesn't give a shit about any of that. Sage believes that it's going to be harder for her to put her plan into action with all eyes on her, and she resents that little outfit they put her in. But Homelander insists that her popularity will give her power. We get to see the rhetoric that Firecracker has been spewing come to a head when a gun-wielding lunatic barges into Starlight House demanding to be taken to the basement so he can rescue the children that he believes are being trafficked. But Frenchie ends up getting the gun from him and knocking him out. Vicky interrupts a meeting with Singer that is taking place without her. Robert finally informs her of the new play they want to make, which is to ban supes from any type of government or policing role, only allowing them to work in entertainment, reducing them to clowns. Kimiko, after being triggered by child trafficking posters at TruthCon and seeing that article about Shining Light, decides she's going to track them all down and kill them. Frenchie tries to talk her out of it, but she demands he joins her, and he does just that. Mother's Milk decides he wants to flip A-Train, who is obviously over being a member of the Seven, and he would make a superb asset to them. He hates Homelander, okay? He can't stand the Deep or this new noir person, and he definitely ain't checking for any of the new recruits. There's nothing keeping him loyal to them. Not to mention, the last interaction he had with his brother had him feeling like an imposter. He was attempting to bond with his nephews when his brother showed up and called him out for never actually saving anyone. And he told his kids he didn't want them hanging out with their uncle anymore. One thing that has always been consistent with A-Train is his love and admiration for his brother. His brother coached him and helped him with his career in the Seven. And now that the Seven has come between that, I think A-Train is ready to prove he's actually capable of being a real hero. Butcher decides to get through to Ryan by joining an online fighting game with him. When Ryan realizes it's him, he attempts to end the game, but Butcher convinces him to hear him out. And he gets him to agree to a face-to-face sit-down with him. Firecracker tries desperately to get Homelander's attention by telling him she's his most loyal fan, okay? And she's willing to do anything. And I mean anything. Basically throwing herself at him in the most cringe way, and he couldn't care less. Sage takes over Ashley's role with the Seven, and this sends Ashley into a spiral. We find out the Deep has been keeping Ambrosis in the closet, his little octopus girlfriend. Did y'all know Tilda Swinton voices Ambrosis? Now Tilda. Anywho, Ambrosis tries to convince the Deep to get away with her for a while and return to the ocean where they can be free and unashamed, which I think is an amazing idea. I don't know why the Deep don't just run away to the ocean. I would. As a Pisces, that's a dream come true. You have the ability to live I would live under the water. Hey, I wouldn't be down there fucking no fish, but I wouldn't be up here with y'all. And that's for damn sure. But he blows his octopus off. And not in the good way. Ew. No, I don't mean that. Because there's no good way. I tried to make a joke. The joke didn't work. Now, my favorite relationship that I wish we would explore more is Ashley and Cameron. We see Ashley rock these amazing point stilettos while Cameron is bound down on his belly, getting ready to get his ball smashed in by her. This is all implied though. We don't get to see any of this, which sucks. They show the most heinous shit on this show. But the Dami Mommy stuff, no dice? Really? That's where we draw the line, Amazon Prime? Anyway, Butcher makes his wife's cookie recipe in preparation for Ryan's visit, but Ryan passes, which is good because he definitely put that Godolkin virus in them damn cookies. Okay, he was acting way too weird about them cookies. Frenchie decides to get high out of his mind before going with Kimiko to fight a set of traffickers, which causes him to hallucinate, and he's forced to confront his past and all the people he's murdered. At the same time, Kimiko seems to run into a woman she knows, but the woman runs off and Kimiko just ends up confronting Frenchie about wandering off during the attack. Annie confronts Firecracker to find out why she hates her so much. And Firecracker reminds her that Annie started a horrible rumor about Firecracker, letting the judges of some pageant they were competing in run a train on her. Firecracker was 13 at the time, by the way. So yeah, she wanted to destroy that bitch, and I don't blame her. Mother's Milk and Huey go to an ice rink during rehearsal for Vault on Ice due to intel they received that Vicky would be meeting Homelander there. Homelander and Sage tell Vicky about a plan that they have, which is once elected, they're gonna kill Singer for her, allowing her to be president. But in return, they want her to disband the Bureau of Soup Affairs and condemn the Defund the Soups movement, among other things. Homelander also wants her to come out as a soup, which Sage winces at and Vicky downright objects to. Huey, hiding up in the vents, accidentally allows a drop of sweat, just a little teensy weensy bit of sweat. It hits Homelander, sending him on a rampage where he kills several Vault on Ice performers. This show is so unhinged. Like, it's so cartoonish. Like, come on now. A-Train ends up swooping in and taking Huey far enough away so Homelander can't catch him. Butcher and Kessler have a heated argument about Ryan, and I was right. They were trying to poison that boy, but not with a virus, with carfentanil. What? They was about to get that baby fentanyl? They were going to kidnap him, but Butcher thinks they can bring Ryan to their side a different way. Kessler warns him that they need to find a way to either train him or kill him. Y'all leave him with Homelander too long, y'all gonna have to kill him. That boy gonna turn out just like his daddy. I'm telling you. Sage and the Deep randomly hook up, and it disgusts me to my core. Okay? When the camera pans out, you see this long, sharp, bloody metal instrument on the table, and I'm thinking somebody might have lobotomized Sage, because why in the hell is she deciding to smash the Deep's rapist fish fucking ass? Homelander confronts Ryan about going to Butcher's behind his back and tosses a sculpture at a mirror next to him, scaring him away. Poor little Ryan. His daddy crazy. This episode ends with Homelander's reflections from that broken mirror calling him over and giving him a pep talk about how he needs to go back to the beginning in order to get back right. Get back right to what? Homelander has always been unhinged. Homelander ain't never been right. So what are we suggesting here? But it looks like he's gonna go back home, which is a lab. Okay? I don't see how this is gonna end well. It's giving, he's just gonna emerge even more crazy, you know? Anyway, I'm so happy the show is back. I love this show. It's so crazy. It is just the most delirious, insane shows. I actually started watching Gen V. Was it Gen V? Yeah, I think it's Gen V. I started watching Gen V first. I hadn't heard of The Boys. I was listening to The Read with Kid Fury, and he was talking about how Gen V is a spinoff of The Boys. And I was like, oh, what's The Boys? So I got into The Boys late. I'm a latecomer to The Boys. But I'm glad to be here. I hope I can like Sage's character. So far, I hope that whatever she's up to will get rid of Homelander, because Homelander sucks and she doesn't act like she likes him at all. I want to know who lobotomized her. I mean, it could have just been she was just acting slow so she could get some D from the Deep. Because her whole personality was like weird at the end. She was eating fried food and like, I don't remember, they were watching something silly on TV and they like bonded over it. It's like, what is she doing? Why is she acting like that? Is she trying to manipulate him? Then when the camera panned out, you saw that instrument and I'm like, did somebody attack her? Well, who would? Who would do that? I hate A-Train. There's no redeeming him, but I hope he does something in this season. I hope he at least gets back on his brother's good side and they can rekindle that relationship, because they had a cute little relationship. But A-Train, a woman killer. He loved killing the girls. He really do. Something wrong with him. I'm definitely looking forward to this season. I think episode 4, it's probably coming out today, the day that I'm filming this. So I'm gonna go watch that, make my little notes, and come back and make another little video for y'all. I'm gonna have to crank these out because the YouTube guys are mad at me. I took a little month off and my videos ain't doing no numbers now. Like, oh, so I gotta put in work so I can get back in their good graces and I can get my views back up. Anyway, you guys, leave your thoughts down in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.